Hello, everybody. Great to see you here from wonderful winter wonderland in Burlington. Hope things are well where you are. Glad you're staying home and safe. Roads are definitely not great. So the next few minutes, I guess 45 minutes, we're going to be talking about career and education pathways and this tool called MyFutureVT.org. My name's Tom Cheney, and I'm the executive director of Advanced Vermont. And what we do is we're really focused on ensuring that Vermonters can see a career and education pathway that works for them. It's our view that education and training after high school empowers individuals, families, our economy, and our communities. So I'll give you the scoop on what are some different pathways after high school to get your education and training that will help you land a good job. It's not just college or bust. There are a lot of different options. After we go through those, I'll introduce you to myfuturevt.org, and it's Vermont's free career and education resource hub where you can explore the pathways that might best fit your goals in your life. So a couple things. First, please do, you're using your device now. Please do go to myfuturevt.org and fool around while we're here. Certainly welcome you to get an experience while we are talking about the tool so that you can ask some really good questions about it as well. I think this is true that all virtual participants are muted, and we encourage you to use the chat. Is that right? And of course, the session is being recorded, and all this will be put on VSAC's website. So I want to start, I'm talking to the students here, that you're part of something big. So the state has a goal that by next year, 70% of Vermonters will have some sort of education and training that brings them value in their careers. Come on in if you'd like. You don't have to, but you're welcome. And this isn't a random number. It's based on the needs of employers. Simply put, they need the skills that are developed only if you continue your learning after high school. A stat here is that 72% of the most promising jobs in the state, those are the ones that pay well, and we're looking for a lot of folks to fill those roles. They require that you earn some sort of piece of paper after high school. In a few minutes, we'll talk more about what those are. Now, I know that next year is 2025. 70% is a big number. What about 59%? This isn't about years. This is about that we do need you to have an education. We do need you to have training that you can apply to your careers. And no matter whether it's 2025 or 2035, this is still going to be true. So we spoke a little bit about why it's important for the employers in our state and our state as a whole for you to, to get an education and training, contribute in a career path. But why is it important for you? I suspect you have a sense of this because you're here listening to this presentation, but a few things. So I already stated that the 72% of those high pay, high demand jobs require a credential. It's more job opportunities. Education and training really is the best way to build your skills and to increase your chances at being hired. That means more fulfilling job and career options. Money, right? Vermonters with education and training after high school, you just make a lot more money every year, and your salary grows with your level of training. But most importantly, it's an opportunity for you to invest in yourself. There's all of us, we have dreams and goals. We have things that ignite us, get us excited. Chase after them. And, it's cliche, but chase after them no matter how big or small. And we know that this is meaningful, right? It's meaningful for us to all follow our dreams. But only you can define your own success. So one thing that I think is important when you're considering your career and education pathway is to know that there's a lot of noise out there. A family member, a friend, a teacher, a mentor, they might tell you what they think you should be or what you should do after high school, and they might be right for sure. They do know you pretty well after all, but they might not be. So the bottom line is that in order to be successful, and we know this is data driven, that you have to buy in to the path that you choose. You've got to buy into your future, and you have to take charge. You've got to do your research. You've got to ask questions of yourself and of others, and you got to put yourself out there. So over the next few slides, we'll just explore some of those options that you have to pursue education and training. The good news is that you have access to a lot of different options in Vermont and outside of Vermont. And even before you have a high school diploma, you can begin to, or even complete a credential. So career and technical education is a great example. Dual enrollment or early college are great examples of this as well. The neat thing is that there's a credential that fits your needs, your location, your duration, online, in person, short, long, liberal arts, or skills-based. They can be earned at tech centers, maybe the tech center in your community or that your school could send you to, colleges, universities, training centers, through employers. A lot of times they'll train you as well, and even online programs. So we're going to dig into these pathways right now. So now, I think you could tell from this graphic that your career and education pathway will not be, or may well not be linear. It might be, and that's okay. I really show this image not to confuse you or overwhelm you, but to convey that there's a lot of ways to do this thing, to get from high school to whatever your career goals are. And most likely, you'll step in and out of different jobs and of different education programs throughout your working lifetime, more so than your parents, more so than your grandparents, and those before them. So let's break down these pathways. So a certificate, it's a great way to show employers that you got a strong foundation to start a new career industry or to advance in one. Now, it shows you that you have knowledge about a specific subject or an industry, and you don't have to take those general education courses that you might in college, right? You can skip art class if you want to be a bookkeeper. So this means your training will be really focused on the skills that you need, and it makes it oftentimes shorter and more affordable than other opportunities. The experience will gain you a certificate that you gain in a certificate program. It can really help you later to earn a degree or another credential even faster. So a couple examples, a bookkeeping, because I mentioned it before, a bookkeeping certificate, graphic design certificate. Trying to think of others. There's so many different certificates that you can get. That project management certificate. Almost every industry needs project managers, and you can get a project management certificate and makes you totally marketable right away. Now, you might also have certifications, right? That's similar to certificates in a lot of ways. It's you're learning skills needed for a certain industry, and then you're tested on those skills and certified, and employers can see through a certification that you have the skills needed to do that job. So certificate and certifications are very similar in those ways. Now, apprenticeship. With registered apprenticeships, you actually get paid to learn. So you earn and learn. It's a phrase you often hear with apprenticeships. That's because you're employed as an apprentice and your employer is essentially sponsoring your education. You'll participate with on-the-job training plus classroom instruction. You will be paid for all the work you do while you're being trained on site and in the classroom. And that pay typically grows as you continue and advance in the program and gain more responsibilities in the job. Many people begin their apprenticeships with really little experience in that particular career or that field. And they start as entry-level workers and then work their way up over the years. Your employer makes sure that you have all the skills you need to become licensed in that profession. And apprenticeships are available in a lot of different industries. So healthcare, manufacturing, business, electrical and plumbing, ski lift repair, believe it or not, childcare, solar installer, IT, brewers, HVAC, and even ski making and design I have on this list. So another form of a credential is associate degree. And so this is one that you're getting a degree that focuses on building skills and knowledge, typically for a more specific job or a career. And many associate degree programs can be flexible, really making it easier to work, raise kids, or have meet other life demands while you're pursuing your degree. Full-time students, it's like 4 to 5 classes a semester in order to graduate for 2 years. And most of these will be in your area of study. Now, they cost less than bachelor's degree because it's 2 years, not 4 years. And it shows an employer that you have a foundation to launch a career and really build on your experience. It also shows 4-year college, if you're interested in continuing on, that you are ready to take on a bachelor's degree if you choose to do so. Some cool things these days about pursuing an associate degree is that it's pretty darn affordable in the state of Vermont. So if your family makes less than $75,000 a year, you go to CCV tuition free. If you want to start in high school with early college, you can actually, your senior year, get your first year of your associate degree done at CCV. And then the McClure Foundation will actually pay for your second year right out of high school, which is pretty darn amazing. So most folks know generally what a bachelor's degree program is, right? It's setting them up with academic and career opportunities. It prepares folks with all sorts of different jobs. Employers often, see that folks have a lot of experience and opportunities when they see that bachelor's degree. And it obviously leads to more advanced degrees like a doctorate or a master's. You take 4 to 5 classes a semester to graduate in 4 years, and there'll be a combination of those general ed classes and specific things focused on your area of study. The variety of courses build your knowledge and experience in all sorts of different areas to prepare you for your career. And a bachelor shows an employer, as I said before, that you've got that wide range of skills and experiences and knowledge. Plus, college students, student groups, internships, and networks can help connect you to people, places, and the opportunities that can really help you meet your goals. And so this would also apply to a associate degree program and even certificate programs that are offered at colleges where you have access to a lot of these different supports along the way. Similar with bachelor's degrees, we talked about how apprenticeships or how certificates are usually short and affordable, and there's financial aid there. Apprenticeships you get paid to learn. Associate degree, we talked about some great opportunities for funding. Bachelor's degrees in Vermont have never been more affordable when you go to public institutions. So the University of Vermont and VTSU, the Vermont State University, also have great financial aid programs that they've rolled out in recent years that get really close to providing tuition-free financial aid to many, many, many of their students. So I'm going to 2 more slides before I'll pause and check in to see if there's any questions. But one thing to note is that you don't need to just pick one credential. There's this thing called stacking, and you may be hearing people talking about stackable credentials or not. But they're the kind of like educational building blocks, and each block is useful on its own. But when they're stacked together and put together, you really can build something even better. And the exciting part is there's really endless ways to make the different blocks stack together. So vertical stacking, you'll see on the right-hand side, allows you to earn credentials that will build from one to the next. It's a great way to kind of show your knowledge step by step in a particular industry to reach a more advanced level of education and training. So high school diploma to a certificate to a degree. Horizontal stacking allows you to earn multiple related credentials that don't necessarily build on one another. It means you can learn about different topics within an industry or career path. And then a hybrid allows you to do a little bit of both. So you might use short-term credentials to fill in gaps in your education and training needs. It's a great option for anyone who's earned a high school credential, has spent some time working, and is now looking to expand their skills. Same with someone who may have a college degree. So this is Finley, and Finley pursued a hybrid model using both stackable and horizontal types of credentials. And you can see on the left-hand side, Finley had a certification and then took a bachelor's degree program. And then on the other side, did horizontal stacking and has a certified content marketer certificate and is Google Analytics certified. So those are 2 different credentials, but they build into this other pathway. So I want to pause and just see, are there any questions from our monitor?
There aren't any questions in the chat right now, Tom.
Okay, great. Well, bring them on. This concludes our what is a credential phase of the presentation. And now we're going to move on to what MyFutureVT is. And so I welcome you again, bring up the tool to explore what education and career path is right for you. It's like totally normal that you need some help. And a lot of times that help is going to be electronic help. Yeah, I just like need some websites. I need to do some exploration, but some of it's going to be real life human beings. And that's incredibly important. What MyFutureVT provides is the online information that you might need and an opportunity to connect with those humans. So that's what MyFutureVT is. And really our goal for the site is that every Vermonter knows that they have opportunities to pursue career and education, their career and education goals that we talked about earlier, right? And you don't have to dig through mountains of paper or all these different websites. We have it in one place. And this tool is for high school students, but also mid-career workers, your parents, whoever it might be, who might be interested in exploring their own career and education opportunities or supporting you. So all of you are going to have different goals when you use the site, right? Our hope is to meet you where you are. So you might come once, you might come more. Maybe you'll be visiting the site with somebody. Maybe you'll be doing it on your own. Some might come to learn about careers and leave with information about a great education and training program that they're interested in. Whatever works for us. And so we're excited to show you the site a little bit here. There's 3 main entry points and sections of the site. There's exploring careers, finding education and training programs, and then getting that connection to the supports you might need, those real life human beings who can kind of help you take the information you've learned and turn it into actually enrolling in that education training program or applying for that job. So exploring careers, you get some insight into how to figure out what career might be right for you, how to take a test drive, how to find a job. It's anchored by a database where you can search in detail the high pay, high demand careers in Vermont, ones I was talking about before. You can find education and training programs. So we talk about these types of credentials that I went through just now. We talked about the stacking, and we talk a little bit about how to pay for them before we send you over to the Vermont Student Assistance Corporation. The shining star of this section really is a programs database. It allows you to search for credential-bearing programs in the state. There's no other place in Vermont where you can go online and search the various education and training programs in one place, and you can compare them apples to apples. So I'll show you that. And then finally, we connect you with those support services. So this is what the homepage looks like. Pretty straightforward. Spoiler alert, it's going to look different in a few months. We're going to make some improvements to it. But you can see the 3 entry points in the middle and then also at the top that are similar. And these will get you started in your exploration. If you scroll down that homepage a little bit, you'll see that we have some information. So some step-by-step guides for how to use the site. So these are guides that if you were here present in the room, you would see. There's one on how to explore education and training opportunities, and one for how to explore career opportunities. And we'll actually be talking through those in a minute. Those are linked, I think probably shared out to you at some point as well. We have some information around climate career pathways, and we're going to be putting more information on the site about different sectors and different industries and how to get into those. And finally, we have a blog. We're calling it Stories and Tips. And this is where you can see people going along their pathway, see someone like you who went through this, and they might have something to offer. So we have a couple videos. We also have a lot of different cool resources and information that might be worth digging into. So this is the blog. You can see we have a video. We have information about the FAFSA launch. We've got information about accessing LGBTQIA resources on college campuses, stuff about forest economy jobs, all sorts of different great information. So what I was thinking we would finish with today is walking through those guides that I just mentioned and kind of just to kind of explore how you might use this site to advance your career and education planning and to start working towards those goals. Of course, you don't have to follow the guides, but they're not a bad way to start to kind of explore your pathway. So first, you'll want to discover your interests, and you may have done this already in high school with a school counselor or with a teacher or someone else. it's always worth doing it again and doing a different tool and seeing what that says too. So if you use a career interest profiler, and I brought you to that page of the site where you would get there, you can really help you figure out what might be your good career fits with your strengths and with your interests. So we also have a tool that'll determine your personality type too. It's called 16 personalities, which can be used, for similar purpose. So they take 10, 15 minutes and they really help you narrow down your list of potential careers. And it really does save a whole lot of time. So the quizzes really aren't the only way to explore what you might be interested in. So this particular page on our site really showcases how to use work-based learning experiences from your internships or job shadows or an entry-level job or service learning, which you see here, to see how a job fits, see if it's of interest to you. And you'll see that, I know we got to start thinking about what you're going to do this summer. You'll see here that the service learning section of the site, and there's a lot of ways to both explore careers and give back over the summer. And usually, or a lot of them, you can get paid, particularly the ones we've showcased on the site. So there's a great partnership of nonprofits in the state, VYCC, Vermont Audubon, a couple others, Vermont Works for Women, that has a great program where they actually provide paid service learning opportunities, including a lot over the summer months. So you can check that out. So I just wanted to mention that. So, okay, now you took that quiz, maybe you did a work-based learning experience, you have a sense of what you're interested in, or you're getting there, right? Explore a career that matches your interests. So on MyFutureVT, we have the top 500 jobs in the state. Technically, it's 514. Not quite sure how there's 14 more, but there is. So that's a bonus. And these are using Vermont information. So how many jobs are available over the coming decade in this industry or in this role? And what does it pay? What's the median income? What can you think is probably a good pay that you could expect? So you take a look, browse through these careers. And we tag with the tag high pay, high demand, what the state of Vermont says are the most promising jobs. So these are those jobs I've talked about a few times today that pay $22.50 an hour or more, and they've got 500 or more openings over the next decade. So it's easy to search in this database. You can search and filter these careers based on the quiz that you took. So that spits out these 6 different categories and tells you which one might be a good fit for you. Click that. And then you can narrow down the careers that might best fit your skill level, your interests. But also you can explore by salary and other things too. Okay, so you've narrowed down your careers. It's time to dig deeper. So you click into a particular career that you might be interested in, and you'll see more information about that career. So I said that I was realistic. That's what my quiz told me. Okay, let's just say that. So this is what came up. And so realistic means it's a career where I could use my hands. And so I searched and I saw that carpenters fit that mold. It's a high pay, high demand job, and it is on that most promising jobs list. So you can see the median wages, the projected openings, the skills that are needed, and an overview of the job. And then you scroll down on the page, and this is kind of the special sauce. This is where you can be connected to the education and training programs in Vermont that can help you access that. So for this particular one, in construction and carpentry, there's all these wonderful CTE programs. So before you even graduate high school, you could have a credential and be off on your way to be a carpenter, right? And maybe there's a great apprenticeship that you can hook up with after. So like I said, we're beginning to build out more detailed resources about in-demand sectors. And so this is the one I mentioned before about the climate workforce. And it's really worth checking it out to learn about the many pathways, the many ways that you and your career can help fight climate change. And it's from carpentry to forestry to auto mechanics and to electricians. It's not your typical jobs that you might think about in an environmental space. So it's pretty cool. Okay, so that's the long and short about how we might use the site to explore a career. And honestly, there are other resources that you can do that too. Follow those same steps. And those are kind of the way that you can narrow down what your career interests might be. Now, then there's the question of what kind of education you need and where do you get it from? So this is the other guide I was talking about that hopefully you have linked or will be able to be linked to. So you might start by asking these questions. The first is based on your career goals and the requirements of the job. The second is much more personal. So what type of education do you think might fit your life? These questions, they really get back to the point I made earlier, that you get to define your own success, right? It's on you to help make these decisions. So learn about the pathways. So you answer those questions. Now you can begin to explore what those options are. So starting at a high level, what are the various credential types and how might they fit into my pathway? So we take them to this page of the site. And this is where you're going to learn more about those different opportunities. You're going to learn how you can earn credit in high school, right? To get ahead of the game. So that's what this page does, is helps explain further what these pathways look like and then how you can access them sooner. And just one piece of advice, it's important to remember that it's not one size fits most. There are so many different pipelines and pathways that you might take to your end goal, and they all work. This is a slide I just wanted to show you. When you scroll down on that page, you'll see the flexible pathways for high schoolers from career and technical education to dual enrollment, fast forward, and so on. And here are those descriptions of those credential types. So very similar to what I said at the beginning of the presentation, but you can see right here, and you can show friends and family members. Here is a little bit of the 101 about what these different pieces of paper are, and they all have tremendous value. There's not one that is better than the other. There's one or two or three that would work well for you. So third, if you're using MyFutureVT to explore education training pathways, you want to explore what those education programs are. So we have another database. This, like I said before, is the only place where you can find education training programs from career and technical education to public and private colleges. The list keeps growing with more programs added regularly. Turns out it's hard to get this information in one place, but so we are adding more programs on a regular basis. This database really allows you, in a similar way to that careers database, to search and filter through those education and training programs. Excuse me. And all of these lead to valuable credentials that lead to good careers. We do make sure that these are well vetted, good post-secondary programs. Now, the point of having it all in one place is so that you don't have to scour the web or go from one training provider or one university or college to another. Similar, there's a filter here, so you can filter by the credential type, apprenticeship, certificate, bachelor degree, associate degree, and so on. There's also, you can do it by region. So I want to stay in a certain part of the state. You can do it by, I think I want to know, I know where I'm going to go. I think I know there's a couple institutions or schools that I'm looking at. So lots of different ways to filter these down as well. So, okay, we found one. It's the Construction Trades and Management Program Certificate at Randolph Tech and Career Center. Each program will have info like this, right? So you have a little bit of the, what is the credential type? Is it in person? What might I need to have earned before? So the prerequisites, is there anything that I need to do before I can apply for this? How long is it going to take? Is it offered nights and weekends and so on? You can also find a little more information, particularly on CTE programs about, is this a program that is just for adults that maybe I could still do if I'm of a certain age, or is this just for more for students my age? So that is what you'll see when you land on one of these program pages. You scroll down, you can see how much it costs and a little more about the financial assistance, and then looking back at, okay, remind me, what industry might this be in? What are the careers in Vermont that I might be able to apply this to? And you can kind of link back and forth to learn more about those. Cool tool. If you've ever done online shopping, then you've seen this type of tool before. You can compare up to 4 education and training programs in one place. It's really all the same information that you would see on those pages I just showed you, side by side. So you can compare the difference between a certificate and a degree program, or maybe it's 2 degree programs at 2 different institutions. And it gives you a little bit of a flavor of the differences and the uniqueness of these different programs. What I like about this example is that it really does give you a sense of some certificates and a bachelor's degree program, and you can see the differences, but also maybe how they might build from one to the next. So the last thing is cost is a huge barrier, for many, but there are a lot of financial aid options available, as I mentioned before. And what we want to do through MyFutureVT is to just give you a little 101. What is a grant versus a loan versus a scholarship? A grant is free money, a scholarship is free money, but a loan isn't. You got to pay that back with interest. So we try to explain kind of the 101 of how to pay for education and training. And we don't just think about financial aid. There are other ways as well, through experience you may have gained in the workforce. Sometimes that can translate to credit and other ways as well. And then we link you over to VSAC as quick as we can because we know they're the pros with financial aid. There's also, this is the only page that I know of that has all the state has offered a lot of new opportunities lately, and we showcase them on one page on our site. So you can get a little flavor of some of those newer programs that are out there. Some of these are time-limited programs as well. So that's it for the guides. The last piece I'll share with the site before we head out is how to use the site to get support, to get help, to get connected to that real life human being. And so we've got a page just for high schoolers that you see here. And that's where you can really start exploring, who might be able to help you, right? So it connects you with the information that we think, you might find helpful on the site, but also some of those folks. So when you scroll down this page, you'll see, links to how you might earn credit while you're in high school, links to those different support services that might help you along the way. So these support services, call them education and career services. We know that websites are helpful, but you just got to have that help at the end of the day. You've got to have a human that's going to help you. So this database has nearly 70 regional and statewide programs, and they help you. So from the Department of Labor to adult education and literacy, if you're if you're out of high school, there's a whole host of different ones that can help you. VSAC, the Vermont Works for Women, Outright Vermont, many different organizations that have some level of service that they provide folks who are in their career and education journey. So what you learn here is a little bit about each one of these services. So this is Trailblazers from Vermont Works for Women. We give you a bite size of how they might be able to help you, and then link you over to their website to learn more and connect to someone who can help you. So the Trailblazers program is a wonderful program that is great for high school students exploring careers. So you can also filter and search this database just like the others. And what I like about this one is it's by audience. So you can say, I'm a high school student, give me the stuff that's relevant to me. I'm a parent, or maybe I'm a person of color, and here are some resources that are tailored for me. So, we've talked about the different pathways and how to dig into them on MyFutureVT. And I just kind of wanted to leave you with this quote. These cheesy quotes really aren't my thing, I promise. But I just think it kind of sums up the workshop pretty well. You're really you're the only person who can determine your goals and dreams, but you're also the only person who needs to believe that you can get there. So there's resources like MyFutureVT and people like the adults, hopefully sitting beside you or in the classroom or in your community who can help you. But with your drive and your determination and all those supports that surround you, you really can achieve your unique definition of success. So I'll leave you there and certainly would welcome any questions that you have for me. I'll just wait a couple minutes and see if there's any.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. I'll keep an eye on the chat. But right now, there aren't any questions.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much. Don't hesitate to be in touch with me directly or with folks from VSAC, and they can be in touch with me if you have any questions after this. I hope it was helpful. And now you can go out and play in the snow. Take care, everybody.